Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and in this video I would like to share with you a mind-blowing game played by Icelandic chess grandmaster Fridrik Olafsson. As you remember in one of my previous videos, that was actually a long time ago, I published a game where Fridrik Olafsson managed to beat Mikhail Tal in the most fierce style. This position is taken from that game, and you can post a video and try to find the winning move for black. I will wait for your answer in the comment section. By the way, probably you have already noticed that there is a back rank weakness which Olafsson exploited successfully. And now back to our main board, and I have to tell you that in this game we are also going to see a brilliant example of how one can use the back rank weakness. In this game, Olafsson's opponent was Spanish grandmaster Orestes Rodriguez Vargas, and the game was played in 1978 in Las Palmas. But before starting our game, if you are new to my channel, consider subscribing in order not to miss my future uploads. And now let's get started with our game and see what happened on the board. Vargas opened up with d4 and Olafsson responded with knight f6. c4 e6, knight c3, bishop b4. We have the Nimzo-Indian defense e3. White is acquiring the Rubinstein system. Here black has three main options: can either castle kingside, play c5 or b6. In our game we have c5, bishop d3, black castles kingside, knight f3 and d5. Black is exploiting the lack of pressure by white in the center and is taking the opportunity to create his own pressure. Here Vargas castled kingside, knight c6 a3. In here black has several options: can either capture on c4 or move back the bishop on a5. As you remember, this was the move which Bobby Fischer chose against Boris Spassky during their first game of the match of the century. And the third option is bishop takes c3, which we see in our game. B takes c3, d takes c4, bishop takes c4, queen c7, standard square in Nimzo-Indian defense. Later, if needed, black can play rook d8, rook e1. Here we have e5, d5, knight a5, d6. Black allowed white to advance his d-pawn, but there is nothing wrong with black's position. Knight takes e5 was played, knight takes c4, knight takes c4, bishop e6, queen d3, and knight g4. Of course, instead of playing knight g4, Olafsson could capture on c4 and then on d6, but he goes for complications, and after queen d3 he played knight g4. So far so good. We had an equal game, but it was in here that Orestes Vargas made a mistake and played rook e2. By the way, after knight g4 the threat is queen h4. That's why Vargas played rook e2, overprotected the pawn on f4, and already he wants to meet queen h4 with h3, but it turns out that this move is creating a back rank weakness. Instead of playing rook e2, it was better either to play h3 or queen e2. Now if bishop takes c4, then simply queen takes c4, and if queen h4, then queen f4. White is managing to neutralize all the threats. Or after queen e2, if move like queen h4, then h3. If knight takes f2, then queen takes f2. And after the exchange of queens, bishop takes c4, the players have equal chances. But in our game, after knight g4, we have rook e2. And in here, Olafsson first captured on c4, and after queen takes c4, instead of queen h4, he played queen takes d6. He is both threatening queen d1 check and also queen takes h2. This is a move which white definitely overlooked. The knight is untouchable, of course, because white can get checkmated. That's why Vargas played g3, opened up a luft for his king, and also neutralized the threat from the h2 b8 diagonal. But this time, this g3 is weakening the light squares, and now Olafsson is starting to exploit the weaknesses around white king. Here we have knight e5, queen a2. By the way, if I move like queen b3, then this time black can play queen d3. If queen c2, then knight f3 check is coming. And yes, again, white is facing serious problems. If king g2, then knight g5. In our game after knight e5, we have queen a2. White queen is supporting the rook from a2 square. But if we have a look, white's position is very passive. Meanwhile, Olafsson is intensifying the pressure. He is playing queen g6. At any moment, black queen can jump on e4. That's why Vargas played e4, occupied the e4 square himself, but now comes rook d8. The rook wants to penetrate the first rank, right? Bishop f4. Looks like that white has solved all the problems, but it's not over. It's not over. Knight f3 check is on the board. King g2, and we have queen g4. h3. This time we have knight h4 check. Look at this, guys. The way black queen is cooperating together with the knight is simply astounding. King h2 was played. Well, if I move like king g1, then simply queen f3. And if you capture on h4, then in this case, once your pawn structure is getting damaged, you have no chance to save this position. That's why after knight h4 check we have king h2, but anyways, queen f3 is on the board with a direct mating threat. In here, Orestes Vargas covered the g2 square with his rook, but it turns out that this black queen is unstoppable. As we have reached the critical position, you can pause the video and try to find the winning move for black. If you are the one who is not missing a single video by me, I'm sure that you have seen this position in daily puzzle section. So, have you already found the solution? As I have already mentioned above, this queen has no reverse gear and Olafsson went for it. Queen g2 check is on the board, after which Vargas resigned. It turns out that again, there is a huge back rank weakness, and with this move Olafsson is exploiting it. Now if rook takes g2, then knight f3 check is coming, and then the rook is just in time, is joining the attack, and it's over. Black is winning. What a brilliant example of how to exploit the back rank weakness. Queen g2 is simply astounding, guys. Let's enjoy this position once again. Thanks for watching. If you find this final queen sacrifice very interesting, share this game with your friends. Also, here are some more suggestions for you. Consider checking them out as well. I will see you in my next video. Take care.